Welcome to another episode of Management Unplugged by GR. You know, it's remarkably easy to fall into the trap, isn't it? Thinking that going digital in business just means, well, hitting buy now on a load of shiny new gadgets.
Or signing up for the latest software subscription. Yeah.
Exactly. We've all seen companies do it. They rush out, grab the newest tech, almost like they think the tools themselves are the transformation. Kind of reminds me of like showing up to a cutting-edge smartphone convention, but you're armed with a trusty old flip phone.
Huh. Right. You're there, technically.
You're in the room, yeah, surrounded by all this innovation, but you're probably missing the entire point of why everyone's gathered.
That belief that the tech alone is the silver bullet. It's a powerful illusion, and a really common one.
It absolutely is.
And what's truly fascinating, when you actually dig into the data, look at what leading companies are doing. It turns out that simply acquiring the technology, that's consistently found to be the least important part of a truly successful digital journey.
The least important. That's quite a statement.
Think about it, though. Buying a high-performance sports car, it doesn't instantly make you a championship race car driver, does it?
Not unless you know how to handle it, no.
Yeah.
Or even where you're planning to drive.
Exactly. The technology, in isolation, it's just a tool. It's real power that only gets unleashed when it's properly integrated into something much broader, a more sophisticated framework.
Right. And that's the core insight we really want to dig into today. Our mission for this deep dive is to unpack why successful digital transformation is actually less about the tech itself and much, much more about three critical and deeply interconnected pillars: strategy, culture, and talent. It's about how a company fundamentally operates, how it adapts, makes decisions, fosters innovation. It's not just about what tools it happens to use.
Yeah, we're moving beyond that sort of superficial layer of just tech adoption to the foundational shifts, the things that truly drive digital leadership.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, then it's recognizing that digital transformation isn't just another IT project, right? Something you just delegate to the tech department and forget about.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
It's fundamental business transformation, enabled by digital tools, sure, but it's driven by human decisions, by organizational structures, by a forward-looking mindset.
So we're going to explore why these three areas, strategy, culture, talent, are the real engines here.
Yeah, we'll pull apart some fascinating real-world examples. Look at what genuinely separates the digital leaders from the ones who, well, unfortunately find themselves lagging behind, often despite spending a lot on tech.
Okay, get ready for some hopefully compelling insights, stuff that might just challenge how you think about your own organization's digital future. Let's unpack this.
All right, let's jump right into our first pillar then. Strategy more than just shiny new tech. This is where that misconception really takes root for so many, isn't it?
It really is. We often think, okay, we need to go digital. Quick, let's buy that fancy new CRM system. Or we need that advanced analytics platform.
Right. And, the purchase gets made, the software gets installed, and there's this feeling of, phew, okay, we're doing digital now.
Check the box. Move on. But the reality is just, well, it's far more complex than just a procurement order, isn't it?
That's a classic trap. And it's surprisingly common. I mean, while implementing new technology is obviously a necessary step sometimes,
Sure.
What's truly essential, the bedrock, is having a clear, forward-thinking digital strategy.
Okay, define that a bit more. What does that look like in practice?
Well, it's not just about getting a tool that, say, collects data. Tons of tools do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's about knowing what information you actually need to listen for in that massive ocean of data.
Filtering the signal from the noise.
Precisely. And then knowing how to interpret it accurately to pull out genuine insights.
Yeah.
And this is crucial, having the capability, the processes to act quickly and decisively on that information.
Right, because insight without action is, well, it's just interesting information.
Exactly. Without a coherent strategy guiding your efforts, you're often just gathering noise, not actionable intelligence. And you could actually be moving very quickly, but in completely the wrong direction.
And the data on this is really quite stark, isn't it? Almost jarring.
It is. When you look at companies that are considered less digitally mature.
The laggards, so to speak.
Yeah. A significant chunk of them, nearly 40%, reported using digital technologies to a moderate or even a great extent. So they are investing. They're deploying tech.
Okay.
But here's the kicker, the really telling statistic. Only a tiny fraction, just 15% of those same companies, said they actually had a clear, well-defined digital strategy.
15%. Wow, that's a huge gap.
It's monumental. You've got companies buying the tech, but essentially operating without a strategic roadmap. No clear idea how it fits into their bigger business objectives. It's like buying a high-tech GPS for a journey you haven't even planned yet. Where are you going?
Right, you might get somewhere fast, but probably not where you intended.
And this highlights a critical point. Just adopting technology does not equal strategic digital transformation. And the contrast, when you look at the highly digitally mature companies, it's profound.
How big a difference are we talking?
You see a massive 66 percentage point difference in strategy clarity between these groups.
66 points.
Yeah, in organizations that are truly digitally advanced, while, 88% use digital tech extensively, an equally strong 81% also report having a clear, integrated digital strategy.
So the tech use and the strategy are much more aligned.
Exactly. It's not just a difference in tech usage. It's a fundamental difference in how they think about, approach, and ultimately leverage their digital assets. It shows that strategy isn't just some kind of, nice-to-have accessory.
It's foundational.
It's foundational, non-negotiable for sustained digital success. Without it, you're basically investing in solutions without fully understanding the problem you're trying to solve in the first place.
So, how do you actually build that kind of integrated real-time strategy? Let's talk about McDonald's. Their Super Bowl playbook example is just fascinating here. It's where the theory meets the real world in a big way.
It's a great case study.
Imagine the challenge they set themselves. Run a marketing campaign during the Super Bowl, And the idea was to give away an item related to every single commercial that aired.
Which is insane because
I had no idea what products would actually be advertised. Some were going to be huge, like cars. Others, like, say, alcohol, would be legally impossible to give away in a contest because of all the regulations.
Yeah, the legal hurdles alone.
It's like trying to play chess blindfolded, right? Against an opponent whose next move is a total secret.
Oh, yeah.
And you've got millions of dollars, brand reputation, all on the line.
So what truly sets this McDonald's example apart is how they approached it beyond just buying some new social media tool.
Right. It wasn't about the tech purchase.
No. Their solution was brilliantly strategic, but also operationally innovative. They assembled what they called a digital newsroom.
A digital newsroom. I like that.
Yeah. And this wasn't just, the marketing team with a new piece of software. It was a carefully curated, cross-functional alliance. It included people from marketing, sure, but also their legal department.
Crucial.
Absolutely. Various advertising agencies they worked with, and even their enterprise social technology provider.
Yeah.
All in the same room, working together.
Wow. A real multi-organizational powerhouse then, designed for speed and response.
Exactly. They knew the tech was only as good as the interconnected expertise that was actually using it in real time.
And this team wasn't just sitting back observing, were they? It was all about that real-time decision-making, a proper digital war room.
Totally. As the commercials aired, they weren't just reacting afterwards. They were actively engaging with the environment as it unfolded, minute by minute.
So what were they doing?
Monitoring social media trends on the fly, making instant, on-the-spot decisions about which McDonald's products to give away. Always trying to maximize cost-effective exposure for the brand.
Like a well-oiled machine adapting in milliseconds.
Fueled by real-time data and, importantly, empowered decision-making. They didn't have to go up 5 levels for approval.
And it worked, right? Hugely successful.
Massively. Generated something like 1.2 million retweets. Became a globally trending topic on Twitter. Even got attention from huge celebrities like Taylor Swift.
Wow. Talk about hitting a grand slam.
Right. And the manager who was involved in that huge effort, they actually highlighted the power of integration as the biggest takeaway.
Integration, not just technology.
Exactly. And this goes way beyond just, co-locating teams or having a single kickoff meeting. It points to a really profound shift.
Like what?
Breaking down the traditional budget silos, getting rid of separate departmental KPIs, the key performance indicators, to foster shared ownership of the real-time outcomes. It wasn't just cross-functional. You could almost call it trans-functional.
Transfunctional. Explain that.
Where legal, marketing, technology specialists, they were all empowered to make high-stakes decisions together, instantly, bypassing the usual layers of approval.
So speed and agility were baked into the structure.
Absolutely. This wasn't a simple tech rollout. It was a fundamental reconfiguration of how they communicated internally, their operational processes, their relationships with partners, all geared towards enabling agile, experimental, and intensely collaborative work.
That's the real aha moment there, isn't it? Integration isn't just about collaboration.
Oh.
It's about radically redefining decision-making authority and speed, all driven by a clear strategic goal.
That distinction is incredibly insightful between just collaboration and actually redefining decision-making. And if you connect this to the bigger picture, it leads to another really interesting strategic approach, one that kind of flips traditional thinking on its head.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
It's this idea of working backward from the future.
Working backward. Okay. So instead of asking what new tech do we need next year to tweak our current operations?
Right. The truly innovative question becomes, what will our entire industry, and especially the customer experience, look like in, say, the next decade because of digital technologies?
So envisioning that future state first.
Exactly. And once you have that vision, that picture of the future, then you ask, okay, how do we strategically get there starting today?
It's like building a puzzle by looking at the picture on the box first, rather than just grabbing random pieces and hoping they fit.
Precisely. And this is exactly what McCormick & Co. did. You know, the spice and flavor company, a 126-year-old business.
Right, I know them. What did they do?
Well, they didn't just think about making their website look nicer. They envisioned a future where hyper-personalization of taste would be absolutely key. They anticipated shifting consumer demands years down the line.
Personalization of taste. Wow.
Yeah. So they developed something called a flavor print algorithm.
Flavor print, okay.
It basically represents the company's huge range of flavors as a detailed vector of 50 data points.
50 data points.
For flavor.
Yeah, think of it less like a simple recipe, more like a detailed DNA profile for taste, measuring everything from perceived sweetness, acidity, umami, to specific aromatic compounds, texture, mouthfeel, all quantified. So a digital blueprint of taste itself. That's brilliant.
It allowed for unprecedented precision in understanding and potentially manipulating taste, way beyond just listing ingredients.
Okay, so they have this flavor print. What are they doing with it now?
Well, currently it's used for practical things, like recommending recipes to consumers based on preferences they state. You know, if you like these flavors, you might like this recipe.
Makes sense.
But their vision stretches so much further. Imagine being able to tailor flavors on demand based on, say, regional preferences or specific cultural tastes, or even your unique personal physiology.
Like custom-made flavors.
Exactly. Imagine ordering a saltier salt for a specific dish that needs it, or a spicier pepper custom-made to a precise heat level just for you whenever you need it.
That's mind-blowing, actually. It's not just about today's use, then.
Not at all. It's about building a foundational digital asset, something that sets the stage for a whole new paradigm of personalized commerce in the future.
And what was the strategic impact of developing this?
Well, this is what's really striking. This digital asset, the flavor print, it was seen as so promising, so fundamental to their future vision, that McCormick actually spun it off into its own independent technology company.
They spun it off. Wow.
Yeah. This goes way beyond just applying technology to an existing business model. It's about fundamentally rethinking business and commerce entirely, enabled by these digital trends.
It's a proactive leap into an imagined future.
Exactly. Rather than just reacting to current market trends and this backward-thinking approach. It helps companies avoid that crucial trap.
Which is?
Moving faster and faster, but in the wrong direction. You know, capitalizing on current tech for would be some short-term gains, only to find out later it doesn't actually align with your real long-term vision.
It's about skating to where the puck is going to be, like they say.
Precisely. It prioritizes long-term strategic advantage over those immediate, sometimes superficial digital fixes.
So, to kind of boil that down, when we talk about strategy, it's about having that crystal clear, forward-looking vision, right? Being agile enough to execute in real time like McDonald's did, and maybe even daring to work backward from a future you want to create, like McCormick.
Yeah. It's the difference between just using digital tools and truly being a digitally driven organization.
Intentional design, not accidental adoption.
Well put.
Okay,
Yeah.
So we've got the strategic blueprint mapped out, a clear direction for the journey. But, you know, even the most brilliant map won't get you very far if your vehicle, the company itself, is built with rusty gears and maybe a reluctant engine.
Good analogy.
Which brings us to our next critical pillar, culture the secret sauce for digital experimentation. Because without the right organizational mindset, even the best strategies can just wither on the vine.
This is so often cited as the biggest hurdle, the most pervasive challenge in digital transformation efforts.
The culture piece.
Yeah. It's just not enough to have a brilliant digital strategy written down somewhere. Your company's culture has to actively support it, enable it.
And what's the key cultural factor here?
One of the most critical ones for really leveraging digital tech and innovating, it's a willingness to experiment and take risks.
Okay, embracing trial and error.
Exactly. Viewing failures not as disasters, but as learning opportunities. Pushing beyond the comfort zone of how things have always been done.
But that's hard for many established organizations.
It is. And here's the sobering truth. This exact trait. It's consistently reported as being most lacking in organizations trying to transform digitally.
Really? Even in successful ones?
Well, over half of respondents from the less mature companies felt this was missing. But even a significant chunk, 36% from the more mature companies agreed.
36%. Wow. So even as companies get better digitally, this cultural piece remains a struggle.
It seems to be a persistent, deeply ingrained challenge. It's like a bottleneck that can just negate all the other efforts you're making.
That really drives the point home. It's like having a fantastic new recipe for some gourmet meal, but your kitchen is full of chefs who are absolutely terrified of trying anything new, or maybe worse, they're constantly fighting over who gets to chop the onions, just unwilling to collaborate.
That's a great picture of it. And leaders in the top-tier tech companies, they get this implicitly.
They live and breathe it, right?
Yeah, they're constantly talking about iteration,
Yeah.
constantly reinventing the core, even cannibalizing what you did before. Because their space just moves so incredibly fast.
And the insight for non-tech companies is
They absolutely need to adopt this kind of adaptive, experimental attitude. It's not optional anymore if you want to compete.
Indeed. If we connect this to the bigger picture, you can really see how those deeply ingrained cultural norms, especially those rigid silos between departments, can just completely block digital progress.
Oh, absolutely. There's an example of a large European cosmetics company. They implemented a new digital collaboration platform, meticulously planned, right tech, good intentions.
Okay, so far so good.
But the biggest challenge wasn't the software itself. It wasn't even getting people to log in. It was changing the deeply ingrained, siloed culture.
Ah, the classic silos.
Yeah, where departments historically guarded their information, operated almost like independent kingdoms. Very little sharing or joint effort.
And leadership saw this.
The CEO themselves recognized this deep-seated rigidity as a major barrier. A barrier to collaboration, and crucially, a barrier to creativity and innovation.
So it raises that question again, doesn't it? Are we just buying tech to solve a tech problem?
Or are we maybe secretly hoping the tech will magically fix these underlying cultural issues that the organization has struggled with for years?
Yeah. And often the new tech just acts like a powerful spotlight, right?
Exactly. It illuminates, sometimes even makes worse, those pre-existing cultural problems. Makes them impossible to ignore and forces the organization to finally confront them.
That's a powerful metaphor, turning a spotlight on the existing issues. Like putting a super efficient new engine in a car that still has rusty brakes and a steering wheel that sticks.
Yeah, the engine's amazing, but you still can't drive properly. Or safely.
But what's really fascinating here, and maybe a bit counterintuitive, sometimes, surprisingly, the technology itself can actually become an unexpected catalyst for cultural transformation.
How so?
It's not always a top-down mandate telling everyone to change. Sometimes change can bubble up from unexpected places, sparked by the tech.
That's interesting. Do you have an example?
Yeah, there's a great one involving a relatively small business-to-business telecom company.
Okay, B2B telecom. Tough market.
Exactly.
Right.
Really competitive. They recognized they needed a new way to stand out. So their strategy involved empowering their entire employee base, everyone, to become brand ambassadors using social media.
Wow, that's ambitious and potentially risky.
It could be. But they didn't just say, okay, everyone, start tweeting. They provided formal training sessions covering online etiquette, crisis communication, all that stuff. And they offered clear, simple guidelines, basically boiled down to use your best judgment. They even gave pre-approved examples on company memos to make it easy for people to share info consistently and appropriately.
So they provided structure and support.
Right. It was about fostering this new kind of external engagement.
Okay, so what happened? Did it boost their market presence?
It did. That was the original goal, boosting market recognition and brand visibility. But here's the really remarkable part, the unintended benefit.
Ah,
It had this profound, unanticipated effect of spawning a truly positive internal cultural shift.
internally, how?
Employees started feeling more connected to the company, more engaged with the brand's mission, much more aware of the company's broader digital strategy. They felt trusted, empowered.
Interesting. So empowering them externally actually strengthened things internally.
Exactly. It was like this small ripple that turned into a unifying wave, organically building a more cohesive, engaged culture, department by department, from the ground up.
What's particularly compelling about that story is how a digital platform, even if it starts small, maybe in just one part of the organization,
Yeah.
it can genuinely unify everything. As one expert noted, when you deploy these kinds of platforms, you start hearing employees say things like, hey, wait, we really need a robust CRM system now.
Ah, connecting the dots.
And we need to provide the connectors to it so everyone can access the customer data easily. And suddenly, at that point, you're engaging with the CIO, with the security teams, the infrastructure specialists.
More people get drawn in.
Exactly. More people, more departments start getting involved. They start asking those crucial questions about data sharing, integration, security, which effectively forces the breakdown of those walls that were previously rigid, impenetrable.
So the tech becomes an organizational unifier almost by accident.
It can be. It shows that technology isn't just a tool to automate what you already do. It can spark critical cross-departmental discussions, reveal hidden needs, and lead to these unexpected cultural breakthroughs.
It's a powerful reminder then that change, even deep cultural change, can sometimes emerge from surprising grassroots initiatives enabled by tech.
Absolutely.
Okay, so when we talk about culture, it's about fostering that deep-seated willingness to experiment, isn't it? Actively working to break down those old, ingrained silos. And sometimes even letting the technology itself be the surprising spark that ignites a new, more collaborative, more innovative way of working together.
Yeah, because without that cultural shift, even the most meticulously crafted digital strategy can just fall flat, dead in the water.
All right, let's move on to our third and final pillar, which feels absolutely crucial. Talent in leadership, getting the right people in the right seats and mindsets.
Definitely crucial.
Because even with the most brilliant strategy and the most adaptive experimental culture, you still absolutely need the right people in the right roles, equipped with the right mindsets to actually make digital transformation happen.
Talent is the engine, you could say.
And leadership is the steering wheel, guiding it.
Exactly. This is truly where the rubber meets the road. Developing and, crucially, continuously training digitally savvy talent. That's a key differentiator. It separates the truly successful digital companies from the rest.
And it's not just about hiring more coders,
Right.
right? Or beefing up the IT department.
No, absolutely not. It's critical to understand that. In fact, regardless of where a company is on its digital maturity journey, the single most important ability cited time and time again is this:
Okay.
knowing the business and being able to conceptualize how new digital technologies can impact current business processes and models.
Knowing the business first, then applying the tech.
Exactly. And what's fascinating and frankly a bit concerning is that this exact skill is also the one most frequently cited as lacking in organizations.
So the most important skill is also the hardest to find.
It seems so. It's a strategic, big picture skill. It's not just purely technical. I mean, you can be a brilliant coder, but if you don't really understand the customer's journey or the complexities of the supply chain, your impact is going to be limited.
So it's not enough to be a tech wizard. You also need to profoundly understand how the whole business machine works. And crucially, how to actually apply that tech to fundamentally improve it.
Yes, you need to be a translator, in a way, bridging the gap between the tech possibilities and the business realities.
And are hiring managers catching on to this? Are they changing how they look for talent?
They are adapting, yes.
Yeah.
For instance, a chief digital officer from a prominent university shared that they now actively look for agility over specific skills.
Agility, meaning
Yeah.
adaptability.
Yeah, adaptability, learning capacity, and people who are, quote, data-informed and mission-driven.
Data-informed and mission-driven. Okay, break that down.
It means striking that delicate balance. Someone who can serve the organization's overarching mission, understands the why, but also possesses robust digital skills, and maybe most importantly, has the capacity to continuously learn, unlearn, and relearn.
So it's less about what specific tool you know today.
Right. and more about how quickly you can pick up the next tool or the next approach and apply it effectively in dynamic situations.
That agility makes sense. Now, what about leadership? Because talent needs direction, right?
Absolutely. And this is where things get particularly critical, especially when we look at the perception of leadership's digital capabilities.
Perception versus reality.
Well, it raises an important and maybe uncomfortable question. Are leaders truly as digitally skilled as they might think they are? Or is there a significant disconnect in how they communicate or demonstrate those skills to the broader workforce?
Okay, what does the data say here?
The data is quite revealing. Overall, only about 44% of employees believe their leaders have sufficient skills to effectively lead a digital strategy.
Less than half. That's not great.
Not great. And it gets worse. That number plummets to a mere 15% in those less digitally mature organizations.
15%. That paints a pretty bleak picture of confidence in the boardroom for those companies.
It really does. Conversely, though, the figure soars to a robust 76% in the more mature organizations.
Okay, so there's a strong link between perceived leadership capability and actual digital maturity.
A very strong correlation. But here's the really fascinating and maybe concerning twist.
Go on.
The higher up someone works in the organizational hierarchy, the greater their reported confidence in executive digital leadership tends to be.
Wait, so the bosses think the top bosses are doing great, but the people lower down aren't so sure.
That's what the data suggests. It creates this potential blind spot, right?
Yeah.
A kind of self-reinforcing bubble where senior leaders might feel pretty digitally proficient while their employees on the front lines who see the day-to-day impact feel quite differently.
That's a staggering perception gap.
Wow.
It's like the captain of the ship confidently thinking they're navigating perfectly through stormy seas, while the crew down in the engine room is wondering if anyone up top even knows where they're going or how to read the latest digital charts.
That's a good way to put it.
So if this gap exists, how are the really successful organizations bridging it? It can't just be about sending executives to a 2-day digital workshop.
No. Definitely not. One effective and increasingly common approach is strategically looking outside their traditional hiring pools.
Bringing in outside talent.
Specifically, actively recruiting executives directly from digital native technology companies.
Bringing in people who grew up in that world.
Exactly. For instance, a major global fast food chain made headlines recently. They brought in a new chief digital officer who'd previously been a general manager at a huge e-commerce giant and worked at other prominent digital native organizations.
And what did those people bring besides the tech background?
They bring a really valuable P&L responsibility perspective from those digitally advanced environments.
P&L, profit and loss. So they understand the business impact.
Deeply. They truly get how digital initiatives directly impact the bottom line driving revenue, improving efficiency rather than just seeing digital as, an IT expense or something you do for compliance. They bring a fundamentally different, more holistic mindset to the leadership table. Digital is core to business value for them.
Okay, now here's where I think it gets really interesting, and it feels like it has massive, maybe even urgent implications for every organization listening right now.
What's that?
The threat of employee dissatisfaction and a potential talent exodus, a brain drain.
Yes, this is critical.
Here's why it's so important. Employees, generally speaking, are overwhelmingly optimistic about digital technologies.
They see the potential.
Hugely. Over 90% believe digital can fundamentally transform their work for the better, make it more efficient, more engaging, more impactful.
Right.
And a significant 85% say digital skills are important, even crucial for their current job or their future career path. They overwhelmingly see digital tech as an opportunity, not some kind of threat.
That optimism is a powerful force.
It is. But here's the compelling part. This optimism translates directly into a really strong preference for working for digitally enabled companies.
They want to work where their tech is good.
Exactly. A whopping 78% of employees consider it very important or extremely important to work for an organization that's seen as a digital leader.
Okay, that's a high number. And it impacts satisfaction.
Massively. And retention. Get this contrast. In digitally mature companies, a remarkable 81% of employees report being satisfied with how their organization is handling digital.
81%. Pretty good.
Now, compare that to the early stage, less digitally mature companies. A paltry 10% feel the same way.
10%. That's abysmal.
It's abysmal. Even in the companies that are developing, sort of in the middle, Less than 40% are satisfied.
Wow. So there's a huge satisfaction gap directly linked to digital maturity.
It raises this really urgent question, doesn't it?
Right.
What kind of employer brand is your organization projecting to your most valuable asset, your people?
That's a staggering difference, almost an inverse relationship between digital maturity and employee satisfaction.
It paints such a vivid picture, doesn't it? You've got employees effortlessly using these amazing seamless apps on their phones for banking, streaming movies, checking the weather.
Yeah, consumer tech is often fantastic.
Then they come into work and they face clunky, outdated, frustrating internal systems. It's a jarring disconnect, a daily dose of digital whiplash.
I've heard employees talk about that. It's demotivating.
Hugely. And even a company like Disney, you know, a global leader in designing incredibly seamless, magical, customer-facing digital experiences, even they recognize this internal gap.
Disney saw this issue internally.
Yeah, they've been actively working to apply their amazing digital expertise internally, streamlining processes for things like employee reviews, or making it easier to find a meeting room, or simplifying how you apply for internal jobs.
That's telling. If even Disney, a digital powerhouse externally, sees the need to fix the internal digital experience.
Right. Imagine what other companies are dealing with.
So what does this all boil down to for your organization, for the listener?
Well, there's a clear and I think accelerating potential flow of talent towards those digitally mature companies.
The digitally savvy want to work with the digitally savvy.
Exactly. If your organization isn't keeping pace, if you're not fostering a digitally advanced workplace, you genuinely risk losing your best and brightest people. They'll go to competitors who are creating that more seamless, engaging, digitally forward environment.
So it's not just about attracting new talent anymore.
No. It's critically about retaining the talent you already have, keeping the individuals who are eager to work in a digitally sophisticated, forward-thinking place.
Your digital maturity, or lack of it, becomes a crucial factor not just in your market competitiveness, but in your employer brand.
Yeah.
Your ability to hold on to your most valuable human capital. It's a battle for talent that, frankly, digital laggards are already losing.
So as we wrap up this deep dive then, we've really seen today that simply buying the latest tech, it really is like buying that fancy high-performance car without learning how to drive it.
Or even knowing where you want to go.
Exactly. The true power of digital transformation. It lies not in the hardware or the software itself. It's in a much more profound shift.
It's about reimagining your core strategy, making it digitally native.
Right, and fostering that dynamic culture of experimentation, of calculated risk-taking.
And critically, cultivating digitally savvy talent and leadership that truly gets it, that understands how technology fundamentally transforms business value.
It really is about a complete corporate shift in mindset, isn't it? A fundamental change in how you operate. From the C-suite all the way down to the front lines, it has to permeate every aspect of the organization.
Yeah, if we connect this to the bigger picture, it's understanding that digital isn't some separate department. It's not a one-time project or just a box you tick off.
It's ongoing.
It's an ongoing, pervasive evolution. And it requires constant, integrated attention to these three core pillars we've talked about: strategy, culture, and talent. Ignore any one of them, and your digital ambitions are likely going to fall short.
So, as you think about your own organization's journey into the digital future, maybe consider this provocative question. Is your company merely using digital tools, maybe just digitizing existing, perhaps inefficient processes? Or are you truly transforming your entire business by fundamentally rethinking your core strategy for a digital age, by cultivating a culture that eagerly embraces change and experimentation, and by empowering your people and your leadership to boldly lead the way into that digitally enabled future?
Where do you fall on that spectrum?
Yeah, and maybe what small but impactful step can you take today to start bridging any gap you see between your current reality and that truly digitally enabled tomorrow?
Food for thought indeed.
See you later. Bye-bye.